And because we've gotten to the point where we can start articulating how we feel, not saying how the other person is feeling or how we think the other person is feeling or how we think the other person should be feeling, we start being responsible for our feelings and say, this is how I'm feeling. Welcome back to the channel, fam. I am excited to share a short little tip with you folks today as regards to marriage arguments, even not even necessarily only in marriage, just kind of like arguments and settling, and something that I've worked on, still not perfect at, but something that I've worked on, and my husband and I have both worked on in the years of us being married. We've been together for now 25 years, married for coming up on 20 this year, and we've learned a lot of things. We've made a shit ton of mistakes, and we've learned from it. And one of the things I want to talk to you folks today about is how to reframe you look at having an argument. So let's jump into it. So as I mentioned in my last video about arguments in marriage and how to kind of repair those things, I kind of wanted to talk to you more about the body of the argument and when you're in the middle of it and what you can do to have in your mind to really get to the point of it so that it doesn't drag on to be this whole like couple days long silent treatment, or like total explosions and slamming of doors and speeding off of cars. I mean, not that I've done any of those things, but I've seen it in the movies, right? Just kidding. Anyways, I've done all of those things. And so I understand the emotions that come when we're fighting, right? And so, again, another thing I mentioned is when we're in the middle of an argument, all we're trying to think of to do is, how do I win, right? I know for my husband and I, we are both of the winning mentality. I am going to win. He's going to say, I'm going to win, and we will keep fighting tooth and nail until one of us wins. But in a marriage, especially in an argument where we might just be discussing something really small, that type of attitude can get toxic fast. Not only is it toxic, it doesn't really help to smooth things over and to solve the problems that we're really trying to solve and really try to come together on to get better at. And so what I wanted to share with you folks was kind of considering the idea of settling over winning, all right? Having the outcome in mind over the fact that I'm going to win, right? I still, because that's who I am, whether it's how I was raised or whatever it is, I gotta win, right? And the same stands for my husband. But we've come to the point in our arc of arguments in our marriage to where now the number one thing, that the outcome that we want is to settle the issue. What is the issue at hand? How do we settle that? How do we either give a little on each side to be able to settle that? Because our number one thing for each of us, we've decided on, is that we want to settle things. We don't need to win. I mean, we still need to win. But what I'm saying is, like, above winning comes the settling. And so because we've put that as a higher priority, now we can really regulate ourselves to not get so emotional or to step away from things when they need to be stepped away from, right? When I'm starting to feel heated, I'd be like, okay, now's not a time for me to talk about. I feel like I'm about to punch you, or whatever you say, right? And we start this by saying things like, we start saying, I feel sentence like, I feel like I have a lot of rage in me right now. And I think if I continue this conversation with you, it's not going to go well. So I'm going to step away. And because we've gotten to the point where we can start articulating how we feel, not saying how the other person is feeling or how we think the other person is feeling or how we think the other person should be feeling, we start being responsible for our feelings and say, this is how I'm feeling. I'm going to walk, right? And we'll come back to this, right? But I'm going to walk because, again, our highest priority is that we get settled. So we separate, we walk. It might be 10 minutes. It might be the whole day. It might be half a day. And eventually we'll come back and say, like, hey, remember that thing? Can we come back and talk about this? And if they're not ready, they're not ready. You got to come back when they're ready, right? Maybe you try again. Hey, in the evening, are you ready to talk about it now? Yeah, I got some time. Let's talk about it. Now we're in a better state. And now we can really get to what our prioritized goal is. And that prioritized goal is fucking settling this shit, right? Stopping the argument. And you know what's so crazy? A lot of it is just like the smallest things can really turn, it's the whole like turning molehills into mountains. Like, it's so true. And especially when you've been with someone for a really long time, it's very easy to take for granted their presence in your life and all the good stuff that they bring, because the little things that they do just might irk you a little too much. It really has to be a conscious effort to try and make sure that you're doing things that bring you to a point of settlement and bring you to finding the good in them, and really stopping yourself when you're really about to react to something that doesn't really need a reaction. Okay, yeah, he left the seat up. That pisses me off. Is screaming and yelling at him really gonna get me anywhere but just make me feel good temporarily that I let him know that I'm mad? If I did that, the trickle down effect would be way worse than if I just say, you know what? He left the seat up. Okay, not my favorite thing, but also not something I need to fight over either. These are different choices we need to make for ourselves, guys, right? A lot of the things, the problems that we have in our lives, it feels, right? I'm saying, the truth is, it feels like it's the other people that we have in our life, namely our spouse or our children or our co-workers. What I'm here to tell you is that you are usually, get ready for this, brace yourself, half of the problem. And sometimes 80% or 90% of the problem. Oh my God. As soon as I started realizing how much contribution I had in problems, my ass started shutting that shit down, because I did not identify as a person who created problems. I identified as a person who helped to fix problems. And when I started looking deeper and deeper into my contribution to the arguments and things that we, problems we had in our relationship, and I saw that I was at the root of them, that was a tough pill to swallow, number one. And immediately I just said, that's not who I am. I need to be better. I need to be better. And that's a choice you can make too. Am I better today? Absolutely. Am I the best? No. I on the day I die is when I'll be the best. Because it's always working to just be a little better every single day. And that's a thought I wanted to share with you folks today. Okay, guys, just think about having a settled outcome. Think settled over winning, especially if that's something that a dynamic that really happens in your arguments. If you really want to be the winner, you want to have the last word. Not having the last word was a really hard one for me to let go of. And still every so often I slip in there and I want to get it, but like, I'm really conscious of doing that. So think of these things. I'll share more of these little tidbits for you guys to have, but that's a little one for you guys to think about today, right? Try to make the outcome of settling the issue over winning over the issue one of your priorities, and things will start to smooth out, I hope. That's all I got for you folks today. I will see you on the other side, and until then, keep evolving. Bye.